Are you a home buyer or home seller in Washington, North Carolina?
If so, this video is of course for you. We do these every single month. We love doing them for you. We understand we want to look at what's going on in the market because, you can watch the national news and say, oh, these things are happening. But really what matters is what's happening in our area, what is happening right here, right now in our area. So let's talk about it a little bit more.
Exactly. And we wanted to give you a real estate market update and what you can see and predict for you if you are in the market for buying or selling your home. And we start really with digging to the inventory rate for Washington, North Carolina.
Now, I want to point out Christmas week, interest rates did start falling. So, most of December, interest rates were high, but they did start falling the week of December. And then next month, I'm really excited to see what's happening now that interest rates are starting to fall. But in December, active homes, there were 56 active homes for sale in Washington.
And in months of November in 2023, we had 51. Last year at this time was 54, which brings us to 3.7% of increase for the active homes.
Which isn't much at all. Pending, which means under contract. Under contract means there's someone buying it. It typically takes 30 days to close on a house. So we're looking at these pending and we see there were 16 pending homes last December.
Exactly. And in months of November was 18 and last year at this time was 17, which brings us 5.9% of decrease on the house under the contract.
This is true when we're looking at small numbers. You see bigger increases or decreases based on smaller numbers. So, sold homes, which are recently sold in the last 30 days. There was 15 homes recently sold in the month of December last month.
And the month of November was 14. But if you're looking at the statistic last year at this time was 25. Which brings us to 40% of decrease from last year to this year.
Now, with the inventory rate, now that sounds like a scary word, but really this tells us, is it a buyer's market, is it a seller's market? So basically we add up the active and the pending or the under contract, we get a number, and then we divide it by the recently sold and we get a full number. And in this situation, that is 4.8, which brings us to 4.8 months of supply, which is still a seller's market.
Exactly. Therefore, 6 months is a threshold that they say that we are shifting to the buyer's market, saying that in months of November, we were more closer to the buyer's market, which was 4.92. Last year, this time we were way away, which we were 2.84 months of the inventory.
Now we have so much more to share, like the active days on the market, the list price, and what's going on for buyers and sellers. But before we get into that, I think we need to do our introduction.
Let's hit it.
Hi, it's Ali Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, you can call text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below.
Now, we wanted to talk about another important factors, which how fast is the market moving in Washington, North Carolina, and average days on the market tells us a little bit about that. Saying that, what was average?
December, it was 59 days on the market, which just seems pretty high. And last month before that, it was 34. And the year before that, it was 40. So you can see it was an average days on the market of a 47%, but really 40 to 59, you can see there's about 20 days difference.
Exactly. Now, other than that, also we need to mention about median lease price and median sale price.
Right.
Which my wife is going to give some explanation about.
Basically, this is not the same house. We did have somebody confused once that they were like, oh, the house went for such and such a number. I was like, no. When we look at the middle number on each category, which is list price, how much it went into the MLS for, sold price, median actually sold for price. These are two separate houses. It's not the same house. We're just looking at the middle number because the middle number gives us statistics and data on what is happening in the market, especially when you compare it over time. So with median list price, which was what it was put into the MLS for in the month of December, what was it?
$300,745, and in the month of November was $322,490, and last year at this time was $279,995.
Now, the median sold price was a little different. It was $277,000. What about the month before that?
It was $237,500, and last year was $234,500. Therefore, if you're looking at all these numbers, For the list price, we had increase of 7.41%, and for the sold price, we had 18.1% of the increase.
Okay, now let's break that data down into more, because we told you that there were so many houses for sale, but we like to deep dive into what is it? Is it new construction? Is it previously owned? And in Washington, I can say it is more previously owned this month than it was before. Currently, it is 0.4 months of new construction and 1.5 months of previously owned construction, which means these are homes that somebody's lived in beforehand.
Exactly. And month of November actually was more stronger inventory for monthly supply.
For new.
For the new was 0.8 and 0.8 months, and also for the pre-owned was 1.9. Therefore, we definitely decreased 50%. Again, it's a small number, but it's a big shift. And for pre-owned home, we had decrease of 21%.
Okay, so I don't know what these percents are all the time, but let's talk about price per square foot. So if you're telling me, let's come to my house, how is my house worth? We're going to first do the calculation based on very simple things. What is the square footage of the house times a specific number? So this is basically what's going on in the market right now, a dirty number. Of course, if your house is gorgeous and you have all these upgrades, of course your house is going to go for more. And then also on the other side, if your house is needs some work, this is going to decrease this number. So just understand this a little bit. So with this, previously owned homes in Washington, and there is no townhomes and condos.
Condos, yeah,
really,
exactly.
in the market right now.
Therefore, brand new homes, which is all single family homes, was $182 per square feet. What about the others?
And previously owned was $155.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about that mean home value. Mean is where you get appreciation. So explain that.
Therefore, we were talking about median, which is averaged over the spectrum, the cheap house to the $1 million house. We were talking about December that we had the data was $221,316 for Washington, North Carolina.
Wow. What about the month before?
A month before was $222,313. Last year at this time was $209,051.
Which is a year-over-year change of 5.4%. So you do have an appreciation factor in Washington of 5.4%.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about the rental market. Tell me a little bit more about the rental market.
For rental market, the median rental market for all bedroom in Washington, North Carolina was $925. However, we had homes up to $2,000 for rent in Washington, North Carolina. This is just the median number.
Right. So let's just talk about if you are a home buyer in the Washington area, and you can talk about sellers. If you're a home buyer in the Washington area, make sure that we understand what we're looking for. If you can afford those new constructions, those are going to come with a higher price tag. If we're looking for the house that matches everything you need, and it's not in a flood zone and it's there, to be honest, good homes go fast, and they always go fast no matter what's going on in the market. So you have to be prepared to buy this home. We need to talk about being pre-approved. We need to talk about being ready to get that appreciation that we talked about starting to go in your pocket instead of somebody else's pocket. So I would say stop renting and start buying. It's always good if you can take care of your house and you can afford it. You should afford it. So make sure that you're trying to make sure you can before prices go up even more, and then it goes out of your budget entirely. So if you can afford a house, get a house.
Exactly. And if you're a seller, based on the data, we said that the inventory rate was 4.8 months. That means we are still in the seller's market, and the sold house price increased 7.41% from last year, and also the appreciation was 5.4%. That meaning that it still is a good market for you as a home seller to sell your house. However, we need to make sure that we do all of the unfinished project around the house, anything that needs to be done, that get those good pictures for the marketing in the MLS and different website is going to be taken, and also connecting with us, Alan Victoria, as a real estate agent professionals, to help you, to give you the direction, and also running the comps for you to make sure that you get the top dollar based on the good making decision.
So can't wait to talk to you soon.